Hello class! This video I'm going to show you how to calculate your correct words per minute, which would be your reading score, as well as your percentage accuracy. You should all have a handout that looks like this. I'm using the digital version that I can edit on Google Drive so that I can type in it instead of having to write off camera. You all should also at this point either have a voice recorder or the mic notes reading program that we've downloaded in class. Now, in order to monitor and check your own reading, you have to first record yourself reading. Now, I'm going to use this example of my reading for this video. So first, you have to read the article while recording yourself. I've already done that step to save us time in this video. Then what you need to do is play the recording back and listen to it while following along with the words you're reading until you reach to the 1 minute mark on your recording. As you're following along though, you have to mark words that you missed up. In this case, I highlighted and crossed out 4 words that I messed up on, and I highlighted my last word that I read so that it'd be easy for me to count how many words I read up to that 1 minute mark. So the first thing you have to do once you've gotten to this point is you have to count how many words you read during this time. I've gone ahead and counted up my words for the sake of saving time in this video. So starting from here and all the text up to here, the last word I read up to the 1 minute mark, that is 119 words that I read. So that's your first step. Your second step is to count all the mistakes you made. I marked my mistakes by crossing them out and by highlighting them. You can mark your mistakes just by crossing them out or highlighting. I only did both so that they'd be easy for me to find, and I made sure to cross them out so I knew there was a difference between the words I missed and then my last word that I read within a minute. So here I have a few words that I messed up. There are a couple of mistakes that you would count against you messing up a word. One would be pronouncing the word incorrectly. For example, if I have the word 7 highlighted here, I may have said several instead. I read an entirely different word than what was there. So that would count as a mistake. Another mistake could possibly be just mispronouncing it while I'm trying to decode it. So instead of reading 7, I might have said 7. That would count as a mistake. Now, if you are trying to slowly work through pronouncing a word, such as this word here, different, maybe you're saying different. You may have said it slowly, trying to work through it, but if you pronounced it correctly, it does not count as a mistake. So you don't have that counted against you. If you read the same word twice, if I said maybe a different country, which does happen sometimes, that also does not count as a mistake, but you do not get to say or count the word different twice when you're counting up total words read. Okay, so I have 4 mistakes that I made here. I have buried, 7, tough, and crangle. Now the thing is, I'm only going to count 3 of these words as mistakes. The word that I'm not going to count as a mistake is crangle. The reason being, it is a proper noun. We do not count mistakes with proper nouns for your reading fluency score. Just as a reminder, a proper noun would be like somebody's name or the name of a person or a city. It could be a proper noun like here with Marine, it's a title. Proper nouns are usually nouns that have a capital letter at the beginning, but they're not at the start of a sentence. They could be at the start of a sentence. For example, Flo. Flo is the name of the dog in this story. Flo is her name, so Flo is a proper noun, and she happens to be at the front of the sentence. Anyway, Crody Krangle, even though I misspelled his or mispronounced his last name, I'm not going to count Krangle as my mistakes. So I really only have 3 mistakes here. So once you get done with this step here, you're going to move on to your handout where you're going to mark all of your information. First, you'll put down what today's date is. So I'm going to say it's September 24th, just for the sake of this video. Now you do writing this on, I'm typing it because that makes it easier for me to record it. Now you're going to move on to the next step, total words read in 1 minute. I read 119 words in 1 minute. And don't let that make you nervous if you didn't read that amount, if you read a lesser amount. This is all about comparing yourself to how you are doing, not comparing yourself to how others are doing. The whole purpose of this exercise is to improve your performance and not to compete with others. So you may have gotten a smaller score, but that's okay. We are only going to compare your scores to your past scores to help you build your reading fluency and make you become a better reader. It doesn't help at all to compare yourself to other scores from other people. Now moving on to the next piece, we're going to write down how many errors that we made. I made 3 errors. Remember, I'm only counting 3 of the mistakes I made. Now it says here we have to subtract these, so 119 minus 3, that means my reading score is 116 words per minute. So I read 116 correct words per minute. Now, if you want to take this a step further, this part's optional. Some students do prefer this. It makes more sense to them. We could find out what your percentage of your accuracy is. So how much the parcel or the reading passage that you read correctly, the percentage of that. And to do that, first we need to have your reading score, which is, in this case, 116. And then we need to divide it by the total number of words read in 1 minute. Well, I had read 119 words in 1 minute. So now I'm going to divide 116 by 119. I'm using my calculator on my phone for this. And I got that this is equal to 0.97. So 0.97. I'm going to write that here. 0.97, but really that's not a percentage. To convert it into a percentage, you then take that number the calculator gives you, you multiply it by 100, and that gives you the percentage. So I got 97% correct on my passage. So that is my percentage. All right, my dears. For now, this will get you started. But one other thing I want to let you guys know about is we're going to be forming our own goals soon after we get a few of these reading passages done. And I want to talk to you right now about how to create your own reading goal. So let's say you've already read 3 passages and you have some amazing scores. So I'm just going to jot down some random numbers for the sake of this video. Let's say your first passage, you got 116 correct words per minute. Your second passage, you got 113 correct words per minute. And your third passage, you got, let's say, 125 correct words per minute. That's not where we want you to be, right? For whatever reason, maybe you want to do better. So what you're going to do is, well, actually, there are a few different ways you can make this goal. One could be finding your highest score and adding 5 words to it. Another is you could find the average of your scores, and the average would be you add them all up. So I would add 116 plus 113 plus 125, and then you divide it by the number of scores that you added up, Well, I just added up 1, 2, 3 scores, so I'm going to divide that by 3 and find that my average correct words per minute is 118. You can add 5 to that score instead, going for your average goal. The idea is to make it a smaller build-up, though. One of the most important things about making a goal for yourself is to make it something that you can reach and working at one step at a time. If you decide to make your reading goal way beyond what you're performing right now, like say I make my reading goal 175 correct words per minute, it's going to feel like you're never going to reach that, and it's going to be very difficult for you if you start off with that all at once. However, if you break it down into smaller pieces and you just go up 5 words at a time, you're going to be making progress. You're going to be feeling that progress. You're going to be seeing that progress. First, you're reading 125 words per minute. Then you're reading 130 words per minute, 135, and so on. And eventually, you will reach your ultimate goal of 175. You just have to make sure you're doing it one step at a time. Alright guys, if you have any more questions about this, please let me know. You guys can email me. You can find me in class or after school. You know how to do that. Otherwise, I hope you guys have an excellent day.